Welcome to Retro Ranger. We repair vintage computers and video games. Let's explore the past together. Woo! Now let's get to work on this vintage beauty. Remember, you don't have to live it to learn it.
Hey, it's Jeff, Retro Ranger here. It is August 1st. I don't know where in the world the summer has gone. And I'm recording in a different spot. I'm in the kitchen because I am multitasking today. And my amazing wife had to work today, but she's making had some sourdough bread ready to roll. So I've got that in the oven. I got the timer on, and I may have to chop off part of this and run over and deal with some bread here and there. And the fact that I've got a restoration going on in the shop, so I didn't have room. But I wanted to talk about some work that was just completed. It was completed for a customer's complete WAS 2GS setup. 2 floppy drives, 3 and a 5-inch, printer, monitor, joystick, mouse, keyboard. Whole thing was serviced and restored as needed. So I'm going to read from a little bit of a script here so I don't forget some things, but pretty much everything was recapped. Just most of it for preventative maintenance. The caps actually were mostly good. There were some that weren't, but complete new modern PSU from ReActiveMicro. Great company. I'm not sponsored by them, but I highly recommend their products. I also had the ROM 0, so I went to ROM 1 to get a little more compatibility. RAM drives and some things like that as well. Got that from them. Also highly recommend that. A buddy of mine put together an 8 meg RAM card, so that's in here. And they got a CFFA 3000 as well. The only thing that we didn't modify at the moment is an accelerator. I did try Apple Squeezer and I'm not really digging it. I don't think it's going to be right for this customer. The biggest issue is that there's no way to easily change the acceleration unless you're in like GSOS and you use their control panel. But other than using their control panel, you can't do things. I'll show you some of the hard drives. But some of the total replay, and some of those, it was messing things up too much. And so I've yanked it, reached out to the company, may look at back Transwarp, which is the only one I've really ever used before, and that you can control with the keyboard. It's got, modern day PSU in it, so no issues there. Service the gear on the 3-inch drive, of course, it broke, so to replace that and lubed and cleaned out everything and stuff like that. I put together about a 17-page manual for this customer so that they can go through and remember key commands, how to load up on the CFFA mostly, so they don't have to read the massive manual on that, and very specific for their kinds of needs. So, Scott, if you're watching this, if you ever get a game that's running too fast and you need to slow it down, you boot up the computer, you hold down the Option key. That brings you into here where you can get into the control panel. You can change the date and you can change the sound. It's kind of good for the volume. But there's also this system speed. It's currently set, if I can scroll down, currently set at fast. You can change it down to normal if you want. I leave it at fast. Most of the time it seems to work just great with the games and gives you a better speed boost. So anyways, that's that. And then to get into the CFFA control panel, you hold down M once you've turned on the machine or rebooted or whatever. So we'll do M, and now we're here. Now, initially it has support for virtual floppy disks and virtual hard drive. I'm just going to show you on the hard drive for right now and what was kind of set up on the CFFA. And so you'll go to number 4, which is Smart Port Assignments. And let's clear this out. So right arrow gets me over here. I can delete out. So go back to the left side. I'll scroll down 1 to disk images. I'll go here. What is the Apple II GS, which is really the one I've been having the most fun with since I've got this, is this WITA2GS. Hit enter, and it'll bring you in here. And then what you need to do is just hit enter for each of these. So we're loading up A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Escape to go back one level, and then enter to reboot. If you're just using this one all the time, it's just going to load into this by default now. I don't need to go into control panels, things like that, which makes it super easy. This one, this is great. I've been playing the heck out of all these things in here. You've got all the basics. You've got Arkanoid and, you know, Crystal Quest. You got all the great adventure games. I love graphic adventure games. I still play them all the time. You know, all the King's Quest, you got all the Sierra ones, Leisure Suit Larry. I mean, you've got them all. Police Quest. It's just amazing. You're just going to load it up here really quick. So you just hit enter, boots right into it. And probably everybody's watched this has played Zany Golf at some time. Also lost a lot of flipping time to this one as well. So, you know, there's your ball. You click and drag. The farther out you go, the harder it's going to hit. I'm trying to get up there, which I never do. And it goes down in there. And I go to the next hole. Anyway, we're playing. I'm going to reboot. So that's the open Apple control and the reset switch again. And some games I have noticed, CFFA is so fast, you don't worry about it. And boom, Bob's your uncle, right in there. So now let's say, okay, I'm done. I've gone through all of these games. What else you got loaded up for me, Jeff? Let me tell you what I've got loaded up. Let's reboot. Let me get back to our CFA control panel. We'll go into disk assignments. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to hit the delete key on each of these, remove them off the list. All right, so I'm going to go back over, hit the left arrow key, go down one to disk images, and other ones that are fun. Well, we've got, I did mention total replay, so that's down here, total replay. This is actually a good system image one. And CFFA A3 is also one that I've recommended. So escape, reboot, doing system 604, which is only possible with the ROM 1. ROM 0 wouldn't load this. This is where the accelerator would come in handy, is loading up through the GSOS. The other stuff, it's actually kind of a detriment. So that's one reason why I'm just chosen not to use the Apple Squeezer at the moment. But, come on. So, you know, you can see in here, though, we're running a whopping meg, which is pretty darn good for a 2GS. And this has got a whole bunch of shareware, public domain games and stuff like that on here. A bunch of other utilities and things like that. So you got a lot in here that you can play around with. And we are going to do a special reboot or shutdown and then restart. I'm going to go hold down the M key because I'm going to go back into the control panel for CFFA. And we are going to change another disk. So let's get rid of this guy. And going back to the left. And let's look at this one. 9 to reboot. And so this one is much more basic as far as the UI. But let's see, what was in here that I was playing with? So anyways, you just scroll up and down with the arrow keys. Yeah, this guy. It's apparently a pretty popular one in the day. I'm going to try to move this just a little bit more. I never owned any kind of Apple II line of product. My first usage of them was in high school, actually, and some class we used, what was it called, Bank Street Writer. That was really my only use with it. My very first computer was a TRS-80 Model 3. That would have been in high school, so that was more what I used. Not as nice as this. Oh yeah, I was playing this earlier. I was not doing great at it either. But basic shooter, it's kind of fun. Blast stuff, working with the mouse. All right, that is bread timer. So I'm gonna pause, we'll come back. Hang on. All right, I am back. Had to take the aluminum foil off the bread. And okay, so let's go into one more. Come on. Powering on, I'm hitting M to get into the CFA control panel. We're gonna just load up one last one. Go to my disk images, and I'm going to run, because I don't think we did total replay yet, did we? Don't think so. So total replay. Again, tons and tons of games. You can type in the letter and it'll jump to start, narrowing it down. So we could have typed A, R, K, but I'm just showing you kind of some of the stuff that is in this one. Again, between all of these ones, there's some duplicates. And what's interesting as well is some of them are slightly different versions of things. I don't quite understand. Arkanoid is a perfect example. In one of the images, and I guess it's the ROMs that we've come, and maybe it's the difference between 2 and 2GS games, but somewhat different on the games. I might have the volume a little loud, but it's another game I used to play all the flippin' time. I played this, though, on my... Ooh, what happened? Oh, yeah, it moved me on. I used to play this on my Commodore Amiga, which is what I got after my TRS-80. And come on, get up there. Oh, no. Not right. Get up there. Come on. There we go. So yeah, I got a TRS-80. After my TRS-80, I got a Amiga 2000, saved up forever for that computer. Super fun and still one of my more fun machines to play with. So I'm gonna do a open Apple control and the reset switch, and we're gonna get back to where we were again. So anyways, all right, let's move back around because I'm gonna have to deal with bread again here pretty soon. I've got to my client, take a look at the manual that I've provided you. Let me know if you have any questions on that. And to those watching, this is kinds of things that we'll do at Retro Ranger sometimes. We'll do a complete system setup, refurbish, the whole 9 yards. Most of the time it is a dead machine, battery acid, cap damage, things like that, and doing those kinds of repairs. But happy to do full setups on things like this, put together manuals on how to use it, what was changed. I've got all the original parts for my client in case they want to revert anything. What I've done in this, everything is revertible if you really wanted to. Probably the only thing that's the biggest issue might be the power supply, but when you open it up, it's still in its original box, metal container. So it still looks retro, but I preferred when you've got the money to actually do that versus recapping. I've recapped my own power supply before, but you just don't know. Long term, they can be a problem with that. But yeah, great system that he's got. I'm sure he's going to be time waste with this for quite some time, reliving past memories and having fun with all of the games loaded up. And then there's a whole lot more that we can do with this setup now with the CFFA. And if we want to really look at it, when Transwarp is able to ship something, it might be worthwhile looking at throwing one of those in this bad boy as well. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Woo! We are done. Have a great day. And remember, you don't have to live it to learn it. Bye-bye.